Howdy friends, welcome to the Vista Sunday Saloon. Today I'm going to talk about High Noon, an American Western released in 1952, directed by Fred Zinnemann and produced by Stanley Kramer. High Noon is a tense Western drama starring Gary Cooper as Will Kane, a newly married town marshal all set to hand in his badge and retire to the quiet life with his new bride Amy, played by Grace Kelly. No sooner are wedding vows exchanged that news arrives Frank Miller, an outlaw played by Ian MacDonald, whom Kane sent to prison for murder some years previously, has received a pardon. He will return on the High Noon train to exact revenge upon the marshal. The moral drama unfolds with sides being taken, all centred around a lone man determined to face evil head-on, regardless of consequences. High Noon is an exploration of human morality, duty, strength and cowardice. A gripping countdown ensues for the majority of this 85-minute film, with roughly 60 minutes shot in real time. The glorious soundtrack by Dimitri Tiomkin focus on the ticking clocks, and the train tracks adds a feeling of impending danger and tension in the build-up to the showdown. Western movies have a generally bad reputation for portraying women negatively, which is going to always be noted by Vista as I'm taking names. This movie gets a thumbs up for its handling of the two leading ladies, Grace Kelly in her first starring role as Amy, Kane's new bride, and the wonderful Mexican actress Katie Jurado. Katie plays saloon owner Helen Ramirez, who smoulders on screen with her unique, timeless strength and beauty. She soon kicks her on-screen love interest, Deputy Marshal Harvey Pell, played by Lloyd Bridges, into touch for being weak, delivering blows like, "It takes more than a big, broad shoulders to make a man." This was Katie's first English-speaking part, learned especially for the role, a portrayal which earned her 2 Golden Globe nominations for Most Promising Newcomer and the Best Supporting Actress. She won the latter. Grace Kelly's Amy as a pacifist Quaker character and a new bride to Kane remains strong and determined throughout. She refuses to honour her husband if he stays to fight. Grace is dressed in her white wedding gown for the entire movie, in stark contrast to Katie's dark black for the whole film. She remains unapologetic as it's revealed she was ex-mistress to both Marshal Kane and the outlaw Frank Miller. Bonus points here as the two leading women come together but not to clash. Jurado's Ramirez offers a supportive welcome to Amy and encourages her to stay in town and fight for the man that she loves. Myself and many friends amongst you are specifically interested in movie locations. So after this episode, if you'd like to hear or talk more about the locations used in this movie, or share stories or images of your adventures, please head over to the Vista Social Club Diary on servista.com. It's free to subscribe, as is this channel, so please hit the button if you enjoy and would like to support what you see here. Shot in under 1 month on a relatively low budget, mostly at Columbia Movie Ranch, pictured in Burbank, California, High Noon went on to be a bombshell in many ways. Scooping no less than 4 Academy Awards, political divide over the movie's subplot resulted in a Hollywood blacklisting for scriptwriter Carl Foreman, pictured here with Gregory Peck on the set of McKenna's Gold. He subsequently fled the US to join us here in London, England. Varying views with regard to High Noon's political subplot I won't go into depth about here, but they do make for interesting reading if you care to research that for yourself. High Noon was recently re-released on this beautiful 4K Blu-ray by Eureka Films. It features excellent extras including commentary by Stephen Prince, an NFT interview with Carl Foreman, behind-the-scenes documentary and a 100-page booklet including the original story the film was based on, called The Tin Star. I am a huge spaghetti western fan, so massive points to this movie for the on-screen debut of none other than a young Lee Van Cleef. Cleef was originally hired to play the deputy sheriff, but apparently Zinnemann and Kramer took one look at his crooked nose mixed with his reluctance to fix it surgically and decided he'd be better off in the role of a bad man. And here's a not so little clue for a future episode. Cleef's character as one of Miller's 3 henchmen is prominently featured, but he has no speaking part. He lost out on the deputy sheriff role to Lloyd Bridges, whom, just in case you didn't know, is the father of Jeff Bridges, pictured here in the modern remake of True Grit. Gary Cooper was considered slightly washed up at the time and accepted a substantially lower fee than he was used to for the role. However, the movie went on to be possibly his most well-known and revered appearance. Affairs were apparently rife on set, including that of 50-something-year-old Coop and Kelly, some 30 years his junior. Apparently Gregory Peck, Charlton Heston, Marlon Brando, Montgomery Clift and John Wayne all declined the starring role. Gregory because he thought the storyline too similar to another movie I love that he starred in called The Gunfighter. John Wayne was quoted as saying the movie was the most un-American thing I've ever seen in my whole life, and apparently made Rio Bravo with Howard Hawks in part response to it. Please get used to me referencing any links I can find to Leone in forthcoming episodes. He is my favourite director and I'm unlikely to shut up about him anytime soon. Sergio more than likely referenced certain shots from High Noon in Once Upon a Time in the West, from similarities drawn from the opening scene of 3 Outlaws at the train station, as I mentioned before, the impending danger via lingering shots of the train tracks. Lee Van Cleef is actually sat with the henchmen at the station playing a harmonica. Also, lest we forget, a cameo of the inimitable Jack Elam as the town drunk. Jack you will recognise from the opening scenes in Once Upon a Time in the West and numerous other roles in great Western movies and TV series. Soundtrack. If you've already seen High Noon, you will undoubtedly have recognised the main movie theme. Do Not Forsake Me, Oh My Darlin. Ukrainian composer Dimitri Tiomkin composed the score for High Noon, with lyrics for that title track written by Ned Washington and sung by the legendary singing cowboy Tex Ritter. Apparently this was the first song to be promoted separately to a movie it appeared prominently in, and proved to be a huge worldwide hit for another Sarah Vista favourite, Western crooner Frankie Lane. The title track was loved so much by Stanley Kramer he really did overuse it in the film. In fact, so much so that when they first showed High Noon to a preview audience, it proved a laughingstock every time the song came on, provoking him to re-edit and scale it back for the final cut. I would still argue that he slightly overused it. Less is often more. Tiomkin delivered many classic Western and film noir movie soundtracks in his time, including, and here there may be some more clues, Rio Bravo, Red River, Giant, Jewel in the Sun, Gunfight at the OK Corral, The Alamo, Last Train from Gun Hill, and even a must-watch around Christmas time, It's a Wonderful Life. Spot the scene in High Noon which features a beautiful honky-tonk saloon piano version of Buffalo Gals. That's a traditional song, but Tiomkin used it for that soundtrack also. A bonus point here for us music lovers is that another character who found himself on the Hollywood blacklist from this movie was the cinematographer Floyd Crosby. He happens to be the father of David of Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young fame. I'm no professional critic. In fact, if the clue is in the name, I rarely criticise anybody, unless they're about to be brought to justice in one of my songs, of course. If you have anything to add, correct, or would just like to talk to me or other Western fans about any of the movies I feature on Sunday Saloon, please subscribe and comment. You're very welcome. Just be kind and always observe your cowboy code. I consider High Noon a fantastic movie, integral to the history of Westerns. It's up there with the greats and it's definitely on the list of Westerns I can watch again and again. There's great performances from all the actors involved, an amazing soundtrack. Bullets ain't cheap, so I will drop slight points here for the overuse of the title song. And on that note, less is more, so it's time to wrap up now, leaving you until next time with High Noon scoring a whopping 8 out of 10 bullets. Keep your eyes on the horizon for my next episode, and I'll see you on the trail.